Now that I'm training with my missus, I feel like it's a new project. It's a new quest, main quest. Just a new project, new puzzle to kind of work out. But in this project, in this journey, I don't want to be experimenting. I'm finding myself, I'm teaching a lot. And even more so, I'm thinking a lot. Obviously, in my head, when it comes to training, it's just pure chaos. I've got 100 different thought processes that go on, that I just take things on tangent and I experiment it in my mind before I even experiment in the flesh, like in the gym. But with her, I don't want to experiment. With her, I want to give her the truths. I want to give her the facts. So when she comes in and we find a limitation, which obviously she's going to have, not being, fully active in the gym for the last 4 or 5 years, if not more than that, probably pushing 7-8 years, she's going to have, limitations. Looking after babies, carrying babies, breastfeeding, all of that, rounded over posture, sitting a lot, all that stuff does change the body. Your body will adapt even if it's adapting to a negative thing. When we talk about adaptations, where we're talking about all positive things. Nah, man, whatever you do, the body's going to try and get used to it. So with her, we did some tests, retests, and quickly we worked out some limitations. Luckily for me, I suppose, she's built very similar to me in the fact that she's got long legs, short torso, and I reckon in her case it's even worse, right? Girls tend to be, I don't want to generalize too much. I wanted to say, she's even got the worst proportions, even longer legs than the shorter torso. So obviously I got her into a squat, and the typical things, knee cave in, all the way goes onto the tippy toes, the balls of the feet. And quickly we learned that the heels are off and she's just struggling to maintain balance. In my mind, I'm like, welcome to my troubles, 10 years on. But with her, I don't want to experiment and search and whatever. I don't want to waste her time. She's not as crazy about gymming as me. And so if I screw around too much about this, she will just lose hope, lose motivation. And she will just, that's what I'm kind of thinking as well. She might stop this altogether. With me, even if I'm, fever or 40, I'm still going to willingly come in here and train. Not too many people like that in the world. And so with her, I'm like, okay, let's get her results. Let's get progressions. Let's And so with her, I'm like, straight away, I'm like, okay, you're one of those like me. So let's get into a split squat, get those hip flexors, quads long. Let's send your knee over toes, get the ankle moving as well. And I feel like with people that are not gifted squatting wise in terms of leverages, I think a split stance squat, a lunge or something like that is the best way to kind of teach the body what we're trying to do. And obviously, a set of 10 each leg was lighting her up and she was kind of giggling like, oh my God, like this doesn't seem that difficult when you do it, but when I do it, it's very, very difficult. And so, we could just, stop here and be like, somebody like her and many, many other people that are going into the gym for the first time, you don't need to touch anything really. You can just do everything with your body. Split stands, lunges, even body weight squats, like all of that stuff goes a long way. But it's interesting. It's interesting to think about it from, my missus. Obviously, I care a lot about her and I don't want to waste her time. But with me, I'm like, I'm kind of crazy enough to invest a lot of time into this and just for the sake of experimentation and for the sake of learning something. That kind of drives me. But with people that are here for results, you don't want to mess around. And so I was finding myself kind of like summarizing a lot of this stuff that I've experienced and learned over the years, succinctly telling her kind of the truths, the facts, the conclusions, the summaries. You kind of sit there and you kind of listen to yourself talk. You're like, why the hell am I not doing this? And then obviously, we found our way over to the squat and, again, after a few sets of these split squats, I get her under the bar again and similar things. And I'm like, man, I think the barbell squat is a lot going on here. I'm talking about knees, ankles, I'm talking about upper back, posture, head. It's almost overwhelming for somebody new into the gym to kind of process all this. And so I kind of turned around and I said, let's put the safety squat bar into this picture and get you doing this. At least the hands and the shoulders are not splayed open, your chest open. Like we can kind of at least turn that part of the process off. Hands in front of you for somebody that is built like her and myself. it's so much easier, man. Like you grab the handle in front of you, and then all you got to think about is where your hips go and what your ankles are doing. And so we did that, and I'm very happy how she looked here, and she's very happy how she felt. This is kind of like the first squat in years. Like we're talking years. And so we had her do, I think it was 4 sets of 5. I think we wanted 5 sets of 5, but she was complaining about a whole bunch of lactic acid. And this is another thing that I'm thinking in the back of my mind. Like if I destroy her, how is she going to function throughout the day? And so I always preach the same stuff. I don't want to destroy you today. I'd rather have really high frequency and we chip at it every single day. And you don't have debilitating DOMS, soreness throughout the day. She's got to be a mom and go to work and the rest of that. I don't want that, because that's kind of what builds a negative relationship with the gym and the way you perceive it. What I'd rather you do is come in and do very, very small chunks every single day, and you kind of conquer the battle with like small bite-sized pieces. And so I ended up doing 4 sets of 5 because she was already kind of feeling a little bit jelly. I'm like, okay, stop. Let's not, make it even worse. And so bit of upper body, bit of lower body. And today I think we worked out for 45 minutes, something like that, before the little guy woke up and put the end to the show. We could have kept going, to be honest with you. We could have kept going with the little guy running around, but I think the dosage of training for today is really kind of enough for her. I myself, I kind of followed her along. I mentioned it yesterday that I wanted to kind of do some split squats. Today I kind of did 5 sets of 20 each leg, and that really did something to my groin and my hip flexors and opened me up a little bit, and I felt quite good in the front squat. I ended up doing 160, and so this is kind of what I'm kind of saying. When you're trying to teach somebody you care a lot about this stuff, you find yourself being better to them than you are to yourself. I'm telling her all the good stuff. I'm not exploring, and I don't want to explore with her. No, we're not doing that. I'm gonna go to the best bucket of knowledge that I have and give it to her, and go from there. I'm not gonna be that personal trainer that you pay $50 an hour and you go over there and then they absolutely murder you and then you're basically bedridden for the next 6 days. That's crap. But a lot of people will come to me at work and my general life. They're like, Ivan, what a personal trainer I had. They gave me so much soreness. And every time I hear that, I'm like, but that's crap. That's unsustainable. Who wants to go into a torture chamber every single week? You're not going to last. That's not going to last. And, I always think to myself, but that's kind of what personal trainers are graded as. Who can really hurt me? And it's like, dude, that's not the point. The point is, how is this person going to progress you? Whatever your goal is, does she have enough knowledge, nuance to kind of work out what needs to happen, And every person that kind of comes to you, will have different limitations and different things they need to work on. And so it's your ability to kind of work through that. There's no point telling Steph Curry to post up. The dude ain't going to do it, man. He can't post Jokic up. And so if you got Steph Curry in your team and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, you got to kind of formalize exactly the best method to go about and win a championship. And that is not to play inside out. You play outside in type thing, right? That's just an example, right? So if somebody comes in with long legs, short torso, there's no point just saying to them, oh yeah, let's do 3 sets of 10 on squats at 80%. Dude, that's not going to work, man. Like, they're going to feel it in their back, the hips are going to hurt and all the rest of it. So you work with them. And you try and make it rewarding as well. Something that they can, conquer. So it's interesting. Training is a lot of fun right now, both physically because, I'm training with my missus. It's good fun. But also mentally, tackling her journey, her puzzle as well, which is kind of making my journey also benefit from it. It's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. I want to teach her how to deadlift, squat, bench press is, easy for her. No dramas there. But teaching her how to hip hinge, teaching her how to squat properly with good form, flat back, deep, is kind of bringing back all of the stuff from the archives in my mind, my experiences forward, summarize it succinctly, precipitate all that stuff into a golden nugget, and then I give it to her. And I'm like, damn, that looks pretty good. I might take one of those as well. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.